Okay, so your underlying energy is the Eight of Wands. Underneath that is the Knight of Swords. All right, so far two of the fastest knights came in here. So things are moving really fast, so progressing really fast. So yeah, I think you guys are really focusing on your passions and really in going on this, just doing your own thing, handling your business, enjoying your process, enjoying the process of building and creating and doing whatever it is that you're trying to do. And I feel like you guys are emotionally drained now. I think you guys are really exhausted. For some of you guys, I think you guys have even manifested exactly what it is that you were trying to manifest, and now you don't want it. I don't think you guys want what you want anymore. So it can be a little bit frustrating, right? To kind of have gone through all that work and then kind of be dissatisfied with it. But that's what it looks like here with the Knight of Swords crossing the Eight of Cups. Okay, so with these two, I definitely feel like you guys want to have more fun. You want to enjoy the process of building a relationship, of tackling your careers, going after a stable home, whatever your individual goals may be, you guys want to enjoy the process of doing it. And I feel like you guys are emotionally drained with the process, or emotionally drained with this dream. I think you guys are done with it. I think you guys are no longer satisfied with what this dream has to offer, or whatever this dream was. I think you guys are ready to find something new, or go after some other dream and pursue something else. Now, in the past, you had the Eight of Pentacles, so there was a lot of focus, a lot of drive, dedication and concentration, directed towards the building of a foundation, the building of a relationship, the work towards a goal or a relationship, or not a relationship but a career. um there's a lot of work being done here. All right, I think you guys are really, really working your behinds off. It tells me that you guys are very focused on what you were trying to create here. And now in the present, you have the sun. Now the sun does talk about exposure in the sense of of the truth being set free, or not necessarily the truth, but things being illuminated. Right, what wasn't seen before, whatever was in the dark is being exposed now. But I feel like this is not necessarily one of those cases per se. And the reason why I did bring it up, because we have the sun here, excuse me, the moon as your goal, aim, ambition. But you have the sun here as like clarity of a situation. And the obstacles and everything have been illuminated. And I feel like with that kind of recognition or realization of everything that's brought about the Eight of Cups, like you don't really know what you want now. Because the Eight of Cups is almost like you guys are just not really satisfied with what each of those things are going to bring you. And I feel like that's cool. You're not pissed off, you're not angry, you're not mad, you're not even frustrated, you're just not interested in what this dream really has to offer. I think you were working toward it at one point, but now you're ready to change. You're changing your mind at this moment, which is why we see the Four of Swords, taking a little break, take a little stop, time to reflect. Now, for some of you guys, you're totally fine with everything. You're just emotionally drained with the situation. You're just tired, and you kind of need to go in a different direction in how you guys pursue this, right? So all the same, but you may have to just take a rest, take a break, go on vacation, enjoy yourself. But your advice is the Moon card, which is talking about following your intuition, tackling your fears. Okay. And I feel like the Moon could be saying that, yeah, you may be feeling uncomfortable with a certain situation, or maybe the situation that what has been exposed to you is something that you don't really want to deal with. But it's just because you're tackling your fears, or maybe you're tackling some sort of situation where a lot of your insecurities would come up. But the moon can also indicate a status of confusion and uncertainty. And I feel like obviously the only way for you to be able to get this type of energy is by following your intuition. And there's nothing wrong with following your intuition. I feel like you should definitely be doing that at all times. And I feel like from where you guys are coming from is that since this path is not where you want to take, if this path is not yours that you want to take, then you have to follow your intuition and find a new one. Kind of go off and explore and kind of see where things land you at this point. the world is this, is the gift, is the card of Saturn. Usually when it wraps up a situation or wraps up a cycle, leaving one phase and going into another. And the world does bring in a gift when you complete it. So it looks like you have completed the cycle. Like I was saying, I think you did manifest whatever it was that you were looking for. A lot of things came in, a lot of things moving in fast. But I think also there was a lot of that realization. The realization came in at the same time as you were receiving your gift, and that's what prompted you to be like, no, this isn't for me, actually. I don't think I want this. Which is totally acceptable. It's totally fine. And I feel like that's what's the change now. You're looking at another journey. You're looking at something else. You're looking at something new. And the Eight of Cups may not even be that you don't want it anymore, but you're like, okay, this is great. What's next? There's something missing. There's something that's not completing the situation. And it could be that you're looking for that, that missing cup. You're looking for that cup that we make everything perfect, because maybe you guys have been working through something and this is something that you still want, but there's something that's missing out of it, and you have to kind of figure out what it is. And I feel like it's that personal happiness. I think you guys have been working really hard at something and you guys got exactly what you wanted, but you're not happy. Obviously, the Knight of Wands, you're not happy. So that's why the moon is saying to kind of trust your intuition, go with how you feel regarding your emotions. And that's why you see yourself taking a break for a second and reflecting, because you may have to redirect where you're going so you can be happy. The world is showing you that even if you have, especially since you already worked so hard for a particular outcome or some particular goal, I think that you realize it hasn't brought you the happiness that you were looking for. And that isn't something to be upset or mad about, but it was one thing that you realize you have to take a different course in direction. Which this leads us to the outcome being the Page of Swords. And I do feel like this is about standing by your truth, or this is about truth in general, perhaps communication, but this is also gaining more information. And I feel like you gain more information, or you start to gain more information, as you start to look within the self, start healing, and start, looking within your soul to kind of figure out the answers that you need to figure out for yourself, especially if it has to do with your happiness, right? Because the ninth cup will lead you to the Nine of Cups, which talks about contentment. And right now, you're not content. You're emotionally drained. And the only way for you to be able to be happy right now is by finding what makes you happy. Right? By going actually after that. Knowing what you want to feel. And that's why the moon is there. There's no right or wrong direction. And the moon is definitely one of those cards that definitely indicate what you're going through right now, which is like, there's no real clear direction. You're uncertain of where you're going to end up. But that's okay, because you're going to figure it out. There's nothing to really truly fear when the moon comes up. Let's take a look. See? You guys have not for you. Jeez. Oh man. Maybe because I was saying, remember? I was saying that there's something that you just don't want no more. And you're ready to find what it is. You're going to go find what it is, or this is something that you see and it's like, this isn't from you, right? This is not your cup of tea. And this is literally what this card is saying. Perhaps this situation is not your cup of tea. That doesn't mean that what is yours is not your cup of tea. What you're trying to manifest, what you want, is not, later on, or whatever you discover to be what you want. It doesn't mean that you can't have what you want. It doesn't mean that you don't deserve to be happy. It could just mean that the situation, the circumstances, how you're going about doing something may just not be the way. Right? There may have to be another way to go about getting what you want, which is why maybe you have to take time to heal and to reflect, so you could go back out there in the game and go out there and get it. But you're emotionally drained right now. Somebody may have just may have walked away. But this whole point of it all is that this is not the end. The situation is definitely bringing about a new direction, a new chapter in your life. And I feel like this realization is going to help you towards a bigger and better gift, which is why the sun is illuminating this situation in the first place. I always read the external energy with the present energy, and what you see is a better gift. And I feel like, or the gift, but I think you want a bigger gift. Or perhaps you see this, but it's just not for you. The way about going about doing it is not for you. And it says, extend your lighthearted energy to others. Okay, that's very Knight of Wands kind of energy there. Flirting. kind of doing your own thing, not really, you're just being in the moment. And I think that's the thing. I think some of you guys have been planning so hard for the future that, or planning, or working so hard for later, that you forget, you're not enjoying yourself now. And I feel like the direction does shift to, what do you want now? What do you want to feel now? And that's why I was saying, focus on what you want to feel. Therefore, you can find what you want to be, what do you want in general, what will make you happy. And I feel like with the Four of Swords, like I said before, like this resting period perhaps is you guys just taking a break and enjoying your life for a second, enjoying yourself and relaxing, vacation, whatever, recuperating, rejuvenating, because the Eight of Cups is wiped out your entire energy. You're emotionally drained with this whole thing. And I don't know if someone's rejected you or you've rejected some sort of process or outcome or whatever, Pisces. But the thing is that even if it says this is not for you, it doesn't mean that you can't have what makes you happy. And I think that's a lot. I think that's what you guys realize. I think you guys know this. But don't be so quick to reject something either just by how it looks, because I think that's another message they're saying. They just be careful not to do that, because you may have want something. This may be exactly what you've been looking for, but just how it looks is not appealing. How it is just not really what it looks like. But who knows? Maybe you have to just put a little bit more work in, or maybe you want to take some time out to really think before you totally just chuck it out the window. You know? Perhaps you just need a little bit more information before just truly deciding this is not what you want. But ultimately, the decision is yours. And I think the situation, the reason why the moon's coming up is because there's something, that's not completely seen about this whole thing. Something's not really being noticed about this whole thing. And all you're going based off of is what you're feeling and what you're enjoying. And you may not be enjoying the process, but I do feel like there's some missing ingredients, or there's some missing pieces to this that may be, not be there. They're not there yet. That may need some work. So be careful before you completely reject something. Be careful if this is not, if this is you, be careful before you completely say not for me. Because it may be for you. It just may not look like it is right now. Okay, it may be things are just going too fast, and things are maybe just happening too fast. Maybe there just needs to be a little bit more of a break, or maybe a slow down. Maybe things are just been going too fast, and it's just too much. And it may be too much for the other person. It doesn't mean that you can't be in a relationship with this individual. It doesn't mean that this person's straight out rejected you, because the Eight of Cups doesn't mean rejection. Not really. I mean, I know he's walking away from those cups. He's saying, no, that's not for me. But I feel like this is saying there may have to be a different approach in how you kind of build this relationship, because right now it's going too fast. So flirt, have lighthearted conversations, not focusing so much on building something hardcore and concrete, because perhaps there's a need to kind of catch up on the lighthearted energy, the sweet, romantic, flirty sort of energy.